Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. We are excited to welcome Tyler Hayden to the show, our motivational speaker, best-selling author, and workplace culture consultant from Halifax, Nova Scotia. Welcome to the show today. How are you?
I'm fantastic, Jill. Thanks a lot for the invitation. I'm excited to be here and chat with you.
Well, I love your energy. First and foremost, tell us a little bit about yourself. I mean, like I said, we might need a lot more time. But by the way, TylerHayden.com. I want to urge everyone to go to the website, TylerHayden.com. How do you describe yourself?
Jill, for the last 28 years, I have been providing team building services and keynote speaking internationally. So my clients include everything from Staples and Subway to Honeywell and Dairy Queen. And I have the pleasure of working with managers and leaders, helping them to up-level their team building, their engagement, improving their workplaces. I've written 28 books. I've got a team building school, a couple bestsellers. Most of them are fun. I've got a flock of rubber chickens, and they travel with me. So yeah, I'm a proud father of 5, and I love to travel the world. And yeah, life is great. Life is great. My trademark is living life large, and I try to do that every day.
Well, we are grateful to have you here. And before we get started talking about
Sure.
all this work you do, and again, as a keynote speaker, as an author, as a workplace culture and team building expert, I want to get to know you. Tell us
Okay,
where you're
cool.
from. How did you get into this field? And then I even want to know about your family. 5? Oh
Okay,
my
cool.
goodness.
Well,
So
awesome.
give me a little bit of your background.
All right. Well, the 50 cent version. So I'm from Ontario, which is a province in Canada, kind of just by the Great Lakes. I was born there, moved to Nova Scotia. My dad was permanently disabled. So we moved to Nova Scotia to open a bed and breakfast. And he passed away. But ever since I was in grade 2, he was disabled. But before he passed, I wanted to make sure that I could work inside Nova Scotia to kind of support my family and that kind of stuff. And there wasn't a lot of work on the East Coast. So I decided to start an outward bound company, and I started kind of taking people rock climbing, hiking, and canoeing. They thought I was funny. They loved the stories I tell. They love, like I was jumping off of cliffs in the Alps. I was jumping out of airplanes, swimming with great white sharks, and they thought I was funny. So they offered me $300 to come in and talk for an hour, and I thought I had hit the jackpot, and I started then keynote speaking. And yeah, from there, 28 years later, here I am. I've straight out of university and been doing this ever since. Yeah, it's a fantastic gift to be able to share with others and to be able to help them about things that you're passionate about. And that's been my fortune for the last 28 years. So yeah,
Amazing. And
that's
then
me
family
in a nutshell.
wise, how old are your kids?
So I live with the Brady Bunch. So I've fallen in love. I'm on chapter 2 of my love novel. I fell in with
Oh,
a beautiful woman named Meg who has 3 kids.
okay.
I have 2 biologically myself. So my 2 are 2 girls. One is 17 and one is 21. And then she has a 13, an 18, and a 20. So two boys and a girl. So yeah, I'm blessed. Kids keep you honest and keep you focused and keep you on your toes. So it's a great thing for an entrepreneur
I know.
for
I
sure.
have a 7 and 9-year-old. Oh my goodness. They really do keep you on your toes. My goodness.
Right?
All right.
Yeah, so fun.
Well, we are excited to talk to you in
Yeah.
regards to the work you're doing. And for today, I think you wanted to talk a little bit about, first and foremost, the conference and meeting keynote speaking, right? So you've been called Canada's answer to alternative energy. Wait, what's going on here? Tell us about
So
this.
I'm high energy. So I have attention deficit, and I think it speaks through in everything that I do, whether it's online, where we're talking to one another virtually right now. High energy. So I tell the high energy stories. Like I said, whether I'm swimming with sharks in Australia, whether I'm jumping off of cliffs in the Alps, whether I'm flying trick airplanes over the Grand Canyon, doing loop de loops, Stories are high energy, fast, fun, and the content is the same. It's kind of like trying to take a sip out of a fire hose. That's what my keynotes are like. So I've had the fortune of speaking to audiences of up to 8,000 people,
Wow.
and it's super fun. So, I love hitting conferences and conventions around the world. So yeah, that's been my gift for the last 28 years.
Amazing gift. And then somehow on the side, you produce and write over 28 books. Stop right here. You are an expert on team building, clearly, but 28 books? Tell me
Okay, well
about this.
let's be clear. They're not all War and Peace. All right,
Okay.
let's be clear. I figured out a way. So I've written a couple. We've got three university textbooks. I wrote my Bible on team building. I wrote The Business That Cared About People, which is a book that I put out just before the pandemic. 4 months
Okay.
before the pandemic, I launched this epic team building book on in-person team building.
Okay.
Let's just talk about bad timing. So then I followed it up with Virtually Engaged Team Building Activities, which is a book all about how to do virtual team building, how to do remote and hybrid team design. So those are two kind of like regular style books. But then I also discovered that you could write instead of printing off decks of cards, like a lot of speakers like to have their deck of cards and get to know
Yep.
you activities. I figured out how to do that inside a book. And so it's kind of cheating, I guess. Some of them are playbooks. They're basically like glorified card decks. So we've got about
Awesome.
10 of those, which are great fun, great ways you can, and they're all in the Amazon store, so and Kindle, so you can actually open it up on your device and play games with your teams. It was a really easy way to be able to deliver great team building activities in a very cost effective way, so that more people could use them.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. So go to Amazon. We just search your name or go to your website one more time. Tell us what that is.
It's tylerhayden.com. But yeah, if you just go to Amazon, you can find my author page. There's even a widget somewhere in Google.
Got
If you
it.
search up author Tyler Hayden, I think I come up there as well. So yeah, there's lots of ways to find me
Well,
if the internet's doing its thing.
all right. Now you launched this team building school, right? And you're
Yeah.
teaching. Tell us about that. And then let's get into the three F's of team building, please.
Okay, yeah, cool. So yeah, team building school. What I realized after 28 years, I've built thousands of activities, thousands of icebreakers, rewards and recognition. I've coached hundreds of managers who are working either in a supervisory or middle management position. How to engage their teams, how to get people connecting, and I've got all
Yeah.
these tools. So I'm
Yeah.
sitting with this like I'm like snap-on tools of team building in my hard drive, and I'm like, well, what do I do with this? So this whole like online learning thing, I was like, well, maybe that's a
Yeah.
great way to deliver it. So we opened the school. We're still in our beta testing phases. We're going to do our official launch here at the end of the month, which is what's
Great.
great timing for us to chat. And it's a great resource that has how-to videos. So we share with managers tools that they can use, and then we give them the templates so that they can add in their own custom content, make it their own. We've got a database with, I think there's 150 different icebreaker and team building activities, and I'll tell you about the three F's of team building and
Yeah.
multiple intelligences, and how we have it all organized so that we can create laser focus. Because good team building, in my opinion, is good team learning. I think we've all been to those fluffy, crappy team building events that our manager or our CEO has said, hey, you know what? I've seen this. Let's all go throw axes. Let's all go
Yep.
drink beer. But it's not our thing. And so we've come up with a way of actually creating laser focus by looking at a learning design model and how people are really become more engaged by the team building tools. It's what I've been doing for the last 28 years, and it's had great success. So I'm going to share it with the world through
Yay. Yay.
teambuildingschool.com.
Thank
Woo-hoo! Close the
you.
doors. Here we go.
Oh my goodness. All right. Well, what else next on the agenda do you want to discuss for today? There's so much here.
Yeah, you know what? We can talk about everything. Yeah, I was a chicken farmer. You want to talk about that? I was a beekeeper.
Wait,
You want to talk about
what? Stop. You got, wait, what? Tell me.
that?
How many jobs
Yeah,
have you done?
I'm just teasing. I lived in the historic town of Lunenburg, Nova Scotia, home of the Blue Nose. We have
The
an
fishing
annual
towns.
fishing town. Grew up in a
Yeah.
fishing community. And I had a coop with a view, so I would sell eggs and chickens, and yeah, just for kicks and fun. I'm ADHD. Listen, if you're an entrepreneur, like Gary Vee says, I sell wine, I sell hockey, I sell baseball cards. We do lots of things when we have attention deficit. But yeah, the team building school is opening. We've got tons of great tools in there that are downloadable, ready to go, and there's solutions. So that's what we're hoping to put in the hands of people who are leading people.
All right. Also, because I'm looking on the site, I'm reading everything about you, which I already done, but there's a lot. Do you also, looks like you wanted to talk a little about the multiple intelligence quotient of teams. What is this
Yeah,
application you're talking about here?
so MIQ, so the way I stumbled into the theory that I use to build teams, I was reading a book by Mikelcik Csikszentmihalyi called Flow. He's a philosopher and researcher. I think he was Austrian, and then I was also reading another book at the same time called what was it called? Frames of Mind, and it was by a Harvard professor named Howard Gardner. And Howard Gardner talks about kind of the eight main domains of learning. He was theorizing about how some people learn by doing, so kinesthetic learners. And you probably, Jill, what was your favorite class in school? What was your favorite thing to do?
I actually like social studies, believe it or not.
Right?
Yeah.
That totally makes sense. That totally makes sense. Right? So what happens is people fall in love with a way of learning. There's a topic area that they fall in love with. For you, it was social studies. For me, it was recess and phys ed. We're all just
Of course.
really good at
That's what my kids like. Yep.
right. And what happens is we have a main domain of learning as a result of kind of that area of expertise that we're interested in. So for you, you've explored newscasts. You've been fantastically successful in that. So you have a strong interpersonal relationship ability, comes loud and clear in social studies. You're interested in cultures. You're interested in who people are.
Traveling. Yes.
Traveling, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's naturalistic. And that's another one of the eight domains of learning. And so, what I've been able to do
Interesting.
is I've been able to look at the way that people kind of fall into their job. So I'm working with a manager at NASA, and she's working with a group of high high intense, physicists and like rocket scientists. And she's like, Tyler, nobody wants to do team building. And I'm like, well, of course they don't, because you're not delivering it into their intelligence. They're mathematical, logical, right? They want things to measure. They want there to be some competition. They want there to be some structure. So we played a game which you can find for free on the teambuildingschool.com website. It's called Commonalities. And basically what we do is we figure out, we broke them up into three small little sub teams. They had to build a list of like things they had in common, not like we all have eyes, we all have noses, but stuff you can't see. Like we all have passports, we all drive pickup trucks, we're all wearing lace underwear, whatever it was for them. They come up with this list, and whichever one has the longest number of things on their list, they win this fabulous mystery prize. And that resonated with them because they love to measure things. They love to, check the boxes. So they then asked her for another team building
Okay.
activity the next time they got together, because team building doesn't have to be like this,
Wow.
this major event where it takes an hour or half a day and you're climbing mount. Like, it can be these small, focused, and authentic ways of connecting.
Oh
And that's
my
and that's what we
goodness.
do by following people's intelligences. If you're a group of accountants, or if you're a group of IT professionals, or you're a group of police officers. I was coaching a friend of mine in the speaking industry who's working with the Michigan State Police, and she was like, what do I do? And I said, well, they're kinesthetic and they're interpersonal, so let's do this activity. Let's take this 10-20 minutes and let's get them connecting in this way. And she had fantastic results, because we're good. Team building is good team learning. I keep pushing that. Good team building is good team learning. We're learning how to work together, and let's set some measures in
Yep.
organization so that we can start to measure not only our financial success, our productivity, our, when we're in the office, how many people are absent, whatever. Let's measure how well we learn to be together.
Yep. Oh my goodness. Well, thank you for sharing this. We got to just remind everyone how we can reach out to you. Please.
Well, we got tylerhayden.com. That's my homepage. That's the my little piece of cyberspace that I've staked out. Tylerhayden.com. I also own teambuildingactivities.com and teambuildingschool.com. So head over to Team Building School. That's where the party's going to be happening in about 30 days. If you're hearing this in April or May, it's coming. It's coming, and we're opening the doors, and it's going to be exciting. So looking forward to
Oh my
inviting
God.
people in.
Also, there's some great testimonials on the website. I was perusing through before. There was someone named Amy saying, "Thank you so much for delivering an amazing high octane opening keynote at Project World, Business Analyst World Toronto. Your energy, enthusiasm kicked off the event in the perfect note, carried through the rest of the day. I've received so much positive feedback from the attendees of both your sessions. The workshop attendees couldn't say enough. Specifically, could I didn't know learning could learning be this much fun. I think yeah, that's kind of what she
Right?
meant. But like,
Yeah.
yeah, this is so
Yeah.
cool. I mean, you really have amazing and I would love to hear some more stories about your whether it's team building events or some of your speaking engagements. What people are saying, why they keep coming back. You have great YouTube videos as well. You got to get them on YouTube too.
Yeah, we have Team Building School as well online. It's on Pinterest. I mean, we're all over the map
Yeah.
for sharing team building. At the end of the day, it's about helping other people to be successful. My energy is my energy. Your energy is your energy, and we give you the tools to be able to create that. I've done everything from I used to run a bilingual program in Canada, and I used to bring in French and English facilitators, and we would have about 1,000 people for a 2-day retreat. And I would do train the trainer, and I would help them to be able to deliver the programs that I write. So I've got lots of experience in helping you to be successful, because that's really what it's all about. It's not about my success. My style is my style, and the way that I do things is the way that I do things. And let's look at ways of making you more successful at the end of the day. And one of the ways we can do that is by understanding multiple intelligences. Multiple intelligences is a doorway as a manager, as a leader, to delivering information. Like we go even so far as in team building, it's not only the activities we're running, but it's how we might be offering bad information, or not bad
Yep.
information, but tough conversations, right? Where maybe somebody has been absent and you need to have a conversation. Well, if they're a kinesthetic learner, they don't want a long drawn out conversation,
No.
right? They want in and out. That's it, right? But if it's a mathematical logical person, you go in and you tell them how it's affecting the long term profitability of the business. You have to give them the numbers, the facts, how many days they've been missing as a result, what happened, how many meetings were lost, those types of things. So MIQ is a management tool as much as it is a team building tool, and we'll share some of those things inside the school as well, just to help you really reach people at the end of the day. Because
Wow. Wow. Wow.
another thing I love to say, Jill, is that team building is what we do with people, not to people. Too often, we're as an organization, we do things to people, not with people. We're not inviting them to become part of the solution.
Yeah.
We're not framing it for them. We live in a world where we all have our devices, and we want our
Uh,
device to tell us the things that we want it to tell us. Well, our training has to be the same thing. Our learning has to be the same way, because we've been programmed that that's what we get. We get the news that we want. Right wing, left wing, who knows? Right, your news that you get on your device might be different than mine,
yeah.
right? Because we're seeing different things. Our advertisements are positioned to us differently. The algorithm speaks to us differently. So as a manager leader, we have to get on board, and we have to figure out how to use that algorithm to our benefit. So one of the ways to do that is to understand who's inside your room and work with them, not to them.
Got it. And you're helping so many people be so productive and change. And do you mind sharing? I mean, have you overcome some obstacles in your life? It wasn't always easy for you, right?
Hands down, I'm a survivor of sexual abuse. I 4 eyes. My parents were divorced. I've been divorced. Grew up being called tub of lard. I couldn't read till I was in grade
Ah,
3. I had a lisp. I mean, you name it, right? But what I believe is that it's about taking those things that happen, and they're gifts with a hit, as my friend Peter says. It's a gift with a hit. And what you need to do is you need to write an executive summary about the thing that's happened to you. So what I've done is I've taken those really heavy books. It's kind of like carrying encyclopedias, right? If you've got all these challenges in your life, take each one of the challenges and find out what the learning is inside of it, right? It's about developing our learning. So what can I learn as a result of having a
Yeah.
lisp and having a learning disability? Well, it frames how I build my keynotes so that more people can be engaged. It frames how I put alt text into my slide deck so that people who are sight impaired can see the pictures that are happening. It's how I phrase and talk about things on stage
Yeah.
so that people can connect. That's how that works. That's how we begin to build those greater connections, and we write them into executive summaries because they're all learning opportunities. We move those opportunities forward with us, and we become stronger. Whether it's the sexual abuse, whether I was on unemployment, I've been on welfare, right? So all these things drive us to be who we are in our future life. And we can either let them hold us down or we can use them to help propel us forward. That's how that
Oh,
works.
perfect. So that's it's just good to know that, you're listening out there, you're not alone. It's not, and not being rude, but you look at you and now and you're like, wow, this guy's so successful. Tyler's like, wow, what a life. But he had his share of struggles. He's overcome them.
Yeah,
And that's what made him the person who he is. So I just want to let everyone know out there it's possible, right? To succeed and
100%.
to build and to learn. So also can I ask you, who was one of your mentors growing up?
So I've had some really cool mentors. I had this one. His name was Andrew Demon, and I tell a great story. He and I actually went skydiving together, and it's a great story about how we went skydiving. But he was a business mentor of mine, and I remember one day it was October, and it was Thanksgiving Day weekend. We were both single guys at the time, and we decided to go for a hike to probably one of the most beautiful places I've been in the world. It's actually here in Nova Scotia. It's called Pollett's Cove, Nova Scotia. There's there's a monastery there, so you actually see the monks in like their red robes, and I guess the energy. Rinpoche says there's this amazing energy there. So if you're Buddhist, this is the it's a place to come in Nova Scotia. And so we went out on this hike. Anyway, I digress. We're going for this hike. There's these wild cows. There's this beautiful, waterfalls. We actually ended up swimming with whales out of the ocean that day. And I remember sitting out there, and I said to Andrew, Andrew, I said, this is amazing. And he looks at me and he goes, Tyler, he says, we are two of the most successful entrepreneurs in Canada. And I said, Andrew, man, that might be true for you, but it's not for me. I was living in my parents' basement. I was the motivational speaker. I mean, I was Chris Farley living in a van down by the river, right? And Andrew ran a national company making millions of dollars a year. And I looked at him, I said, Andrew, I said, it's no doubt that you are successful, but I'm not. And he said, Tyler, you know what? The essence of success is idiosyncratic. He says, it's in the eye of the beholder. He said, you're doing what you love, you're sharing the things that you're passionate about. And he goes, that makes you successful. Look at where we are. We get to make this choice of what it is that we're doing. We have this first world opportunity and this gift. He says, we are the most successful. And you know what? At the end of the day, I hear people talking about like, oh, but my team is so small, or I live in rural America. I don't have the access to what's going on in
Yeah.
downtown New York City. But you know what? It's about maximizing the opportunities that you have in front of you. You have a team of three, make it the strongest team of three. You have a team of 300, make it the strongest team of 300.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
You use and access the tools that you have.
Oh, my goodness. Well, we are grateful that you're here today. We still have 3 minutes left in the show. How
Okay,
did you kind of want to sum up for today, being it's our first show like this? This is exciting. What else do you think our listeners should know about you, your work? I mean, I know you have some great quotes. I didn't know if you want to share some of that.
yeah, just you know what, jump on board, come and visit us at teambuildingschool.com and try a free course. I mean, I think that's the thing you're supposed to do with all these course things. There's supposed to be a freebie there that you do. There is a freebie. Check it out. Try commonalities. Try it with your team. See how it works with them. Watch the video. It's super fun. And don't like just enjoy yourself. Just enjoy the things that you're doing with your people, because the more authentic you are, the better off it's going to be. Good team building is good team learning. Set some learning objectives. Do it with people. Find out, do what they want to do, and you'll be amazing. 70% of the reason why people leave their workplaces is because of crappy managers. So this is kind of like, the solution for, cutting the crap. Yeah,
Got it.
yeah.
Well, remind us how we can reach out to you. Do you offer an initial consultation if someone's interested?
Join online at Team Building School. There's a booking page on my team building or on tylerhayden.com if you want to talk about maybe you have a conference or an event coming up. You're looking for a high energy speaker. You want to talk about rewards, recognition. You want to do some team engagement. You want to do a retreat. Reach out. I'd love to come and join you and your team and add Canada's answer to alternative energy to your work and your passion.
Beautiful. Thank you again for being here. Would you mind sharing all the ways we can contact you?
Sure. Well, jump on to tylerhayden.com or teambuildingschool.com and just click on the link for contact and you'll find our contact information, email, all that kind of stuff. I will get back to you.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Pleasure having you here. Great seeing you and looking forward to the
Cheers.
next time we get to do this again.
Awesome. Thanks, Jill. It was great to meet you.
Thank you. You too.
Take care,
Have
everyone.
a great day.
You
Love your
too.
energy.
Bye.
Are you that manager or leader who's looking for new ways to engage, inspire, and have their teams outperform? My name is Tyler Hayden, and for the last 28 years, I've been helping organizational leaders and managers at places like Michelin and Subway to do that very thing. I'm going to open the doors to teambuildingschool.com, where you as a manager can learn to uplevel your team using my tools and my techniques proven over the last 28 years. Come join me. Let's make a difference in your team.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.